Hello? Wait, is it all working? It's all working. Hi, it's Elena of the Witches Box with our Friday live guided meditation. Welcome, good morning, hello. For those of you who are in other parts of the world, welcome. Hold on a second. It is morning here in California, Pacific Coast time. And I see some people are here. Francesca, hello. Mimsy, good morning. Adrian, hello. I'm trying the at work meditation again. Well, let's see how this goes for you. If you can lock yourself away in a little room, you're going to be great. I'm going to give people some time to get here because I'm actually live a little early. I don't know what's going on. I got like bedhead. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Before we really start though, hi Bear's Paw and Project Refine Life. Good morning. Are there announcements? Those of you who have been part of the Moon Ritual Coven in the past or are currently in the Moon Ritual Coven, there will be an email sent to you that is super duper time sensitive. It'll be going out, it's almost 10 o'clock right now. It'll be going out by 3 p.m. Pacific time, but be on the lookout for that because it's definitely super time specific or time sensitive, and it is only to people who have only ever been part of the Moon Ritual Coven, like either in the past but you're not part of it now, or people who are part of it now. Let me see why this is making crazy noise. Why? Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is making noise again all of a sudden. All right, we're going to just hope for the best with this. I'm going to do an experiment and I'm going to ask you to help me. I'm going to lower the volume on my laptop. I don't think that that's going to affect my sound with all of you, but let's see, yeah? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up or a yes. Because if I can figure this out, this will be the solution for all things. Can you hear me? You don't want to hear me sing because I can't sing. Oh God, I think nobody can hear me. Hi Alexis, hi Laurenberg, hi Layla, hi Kay, hi Jewel Mar, hi Emily. I'm just gonna assume that you can hear me because someone would have said that they couldn't hear me. I've done this before. You can hear me. Beautiful. Okay, so I figured it out. I can just mute my laptop, by the way, and it'll work. Beautiful. Okay, yes, and like and share. I also forget that there's a whole delay here. Did I say hi to Kay already? Hi Kay. Yeah, I did. What was that for the announcements? That was an announcement for the people in the Moon Ritual Coven. Samhain is in a few days. Today's meditation is a preparation for that, or you can use it as a preparation for that. It is definitely timely. And I'll say more words about the meditation in a minute, but I'm trying to think. I don't know if there are any other announcements. The Invoke Yourself virtual retreat still has a couple of openings left. The cutoff date to register for that, I believe, is November 7th. So you have about a weekish and a half. So that's still open and available. And news on our live retreat next year in England will be coming in the next couple of weeks. But that's it, I think, in terms of announcements. Oh, and the November boxes should start to get mailed out, cross your fingers, by Friday of next week, only because I wanted to start aiming towards Wednesday, but I added one more thing to the box because, and it's not here yet. And I don't know if it's going to get here by Wednesday. So by next week, all of those boxes will start shipping out. I know that there's like 2 of you, which is odd, who all of our October boxes are mailed. All of the single boxes for October were mailed out. Like the last 2 were mailed out, I think, on Monday, that were like single box purchases. But 2 of you haven't seen hire nor hair of those boxes, and I know that that's a thing. I'm tracking. Just know that we're tracking because they all went out. And I think that that's it. All right, let's talk about this meditation. This meditation, 'cause requires a little bit of visualization, not a whole lot, because we're going to be using our biology. We're going to be using the screen of our eyelids as something to visualize or look at. So you don't really have to imagine. You've got something to actually see. But here is what I'm going to say about this meditation, because I know my crew. I know most of you now a little bit, at least your energetic movements, and it is going to be super duper tempting to go beyond what I'm telling you to do. You're going to want to cross the veil. You're going to want to have you're going to want to do more than just be in that moment before you do anything, which is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be sitting just at this side of the veil and nothing more, right? You're going to want to go through. You're going to want to do not. Because part of developing our spiritual maturity and our capacity to sit with ourselves and sit with energy and really work with energy is being in those moments of the in-between. We're kind of at the beginning, but I'm going to take you to a little bit of the edge of the in-between, and being there can be really uncomfortable. It can create senses of impatience, of it's just right there, I'm just going to go. Learning to be in the moment with whatever's happening is an incredibly empowering tool in many, 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 many ways. So that is what I'm going to say. Just do this. And if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel friction because you want to go, you want to do, it's just right there. And for me, I'm getting a special message. No. Be where you're going to be and hold your space, because that's also part of learning how to be sovereign. I'm going to hold my intentional space in this place right here. I'm not moving beyond the instructions. I'm not doing anything other than learning how to be in the place that I'm going to be. Now, I'm probably, for a lot of you, making it sound way harder than it really is, but for some of us, it's going to be hard, and that's okay, because that's part of the learning process. What else do I want to say? A word on protection and a word on intention. When we talk about moving beyond the veil, to work beyond the veil, either to do magic, to meet with entities, to meet with ancestors, to meet with guides, there is always justifiably a lot of concern around, am I going to be protected? What if I, meet up with something that's really terrible or evil or mean or malevolent? Very justifiable concern, very justifiable fear. Any mature practitioner will always be mindful of that. So it's not like asking the question means that you're somehow not adept or that you're just too much of a newbie. It's an important question to ask. You're always wanting to be in a state of boundaried protection. Now, because oftentimes we feel like what's beyond the veil or what's in the spirit world can be so super duper scary, we either avoid in reaction and don't do the work, or we pull up a bunch of things that we can do for protection out of reaction, where it's kind of like, I'm in fear, so boom, boom, I'm going to put out walls, or I'm going to run away, or right. We're in emotional reaction. We're not in response. We've talked a lot about this from different angles, with the different meditations that we've done in the past to kind of prepare for this, right? Understand that you are sovereign. That simply by saying, especially in the spirit realm, especially in that space, because the way that boundaries work there is a little different because of the way the energy moves. Your intention of the only thing allowed communication with me right now is benevolent, is a benevolent well entity. That is a very powerful and strong boundary. It really is. If you go in with I don't know, let's see what's coming in, I don't know, open. Anybody who wants to talk to me, come talk to me. Anybody who wants to talk to you is going to want to talk to you. And so it's not necessarily that you are attracting awful, evil things, but if something wants to talk to you and they may not have your best interest at heart, they're going to come too. We need to be really specific. And today we're not going to be as specific as I normally like to be, but the fact that we're going to be stating in the meditation that it's only the benevolent that we're open to having communication with. It's only the benevolent that we are opening ourselves up to. That is enough. It is enough. There are other things that we can do throughout the course of our day-to-day that kind of help shore up our ongoing mundane day-to-day protection and boundaries. But when we're going to do this work, if we haven't been doing a bunch of that stuff, we can still set this boundary and it can still work for us. We're not going to be moving beyond the veil. So you're okay. I think that that's all I want to say about that, but let me see what is going on here in the box. Everybody can hear me. Yay. Laurenberg says, of course, it is like going to a new place, or what I hear from people going on a blind date. You don't know the entities you will meet, so you must set up safety nets. Of course, exactly. And most of you at this point maybe have heard me talk about this as well, which is this. We're not going on a shamanic journey here. We're not going on a trance journey at all, in the sense that I'm not going to bring you in a specific way so that you can retract your steps in a specific way. This is a little bit different because you're really just exactly where you are, and you're literally just putting a call out, crossing the veil with your call and putting a call out. That's all you're doing. So there is no going in and going out with like our waypoints the way we've been working with, most of us, in different groups and different spaces. If you want to do this again, because you may not get an answer, and I keep forgetting to say this in our previous meditations, if the meditation got the guidance that I'm giving you is to reach out to something, someone, an oracle, guide, whatever, and you're waiting for a response, you may not get a response right now. We may go through the entire meditation and the response may not come. That's okay. The response will come. And, or, again, we've talked about this for sure, you may get a response that you're not expecting. It may be sensation, it may be a feeling, it may be a distractions, right? So as I go through this, because the nature of how we do this, because we're online, because I'm guiding you through a whole script, some of you may get there, some of you may not. If you're finding like, I'm still waiting for the thing, and Elena's now talking and guiding me beyond it, stay in the waiting. So if I'm guiding you to, well, ask a question or have a dialogue or maybe set a date to meet later in ritual, but you haven't gotten the answer yet, stay in the waiting, which can be also a little, you might feel some FOMO. Allow the FOMO to come up and then let the FOMO go. FOMO as in fear of missing out, okay? I don't want to always assume that we all know these things. Stay in the waiting until I say, and I think this one I'm going to end with, do another 3 rounds of breathing and then create a transition for yourself. So if you don't get an answer, just stay in the waiting, stay in the space, stay in the curiosity, and stay on this side of the veil. Yeah. That too also helps to strengthen that muscle of, I just need to be present with what my process is. This speaks to, I think a couple of you have mentioned this before, this speaks to, and this definitely happened. I don't know if it happened at both of our live retreats or not, but it was my fault actually when this happened last time. But if you feel like, oh God, Elena's winding up to end, I gotta hurry it up, don't hurry up. Be in your process. The beauty of us doing it like this is that you're in your own home. If you want to continue on with this until you're ready to close it out way beyond the length of this gathering, you can do that too, right? You can guide yourself in that way. So don't feel like you've got to wrap up quickly because Elena's done and we got to be done. You can linger. And I would encourage you, like if you have like even the slightest urge of lingering, linger and forget about what we're doing and don't come back. Just do your thing. I mean, come back to your space when you're done, but don't feel like you've got to come back here. Okay. I think that's it. Let me see. Modest, hello. Catherine Ashley. Hello. Good morning. I think I already said that probably. Let's see. Beautiful. Kim, hello. Jacqueline, Curls and Pearls. Boom. All right. So I have all my things. I'm gonna take a little drink. And I'm so glad that I was able to just mute my computer all these months, and that's all it took. Okay, get yourselves together. Candles if you need, definitely a journal. Incense if you want. I love Emily I love that. We should do that all the time, the little icon. Mimsy says you can now loop a YouTube video as well. Girl. Yeah, I've heard that there's a lot of changes to what they offer, what you can do. I have not even dug into that. One day. We'll see how that goes. All right. Um, that's it. I feel like there's something I wanted to say, but get yourselves gathered. And when you're ready, get comfortable in your meditative seat and then close your eyes. And then as we do, just begin to pay attention to your breathing and your inner state. You don't have to do anything. You're just tuning inward. What does your breath sound like? What does it feel like? And how are you breathing right now? The way that we breathe and the rhythms that we have change depending on our situation and our moment in time. So just check in with that. What does that sound like and feel like right now? And then slowly begin to weave intention into your breath so that you are lengthening your inhale, going deeper, and keeping your exhale very slow. So you're savoring that beautiful air coming in and you're savoring it as it leaves. And really explore and touch into how that deeper breath makes you feel, both physically in terms of sensation and emotionally. As the pace of your breath becomes steady and consistent, you want to allow your exhale to be a tool and to be of service to you so that if a distraction comes in, a discomfort in your body or a tension, you exhale all of that away. Each exhale is just an incremental cleansing ritual. And we return to the breath over and over again every single time something else comes into mind or a little tension creeps up in the body. You just let it right out on the exhale. Allow your breath to be your support system so that if anxiety comes up or a sense of confusion might prop up or come up, just rest back in the breath. That's all you have to do. And when you're ready, just let your breath sink into the background so that you can shift your focus to the dark screen of your eyelids. Your eyes can see right into it. And that screen isn't fully black, it's not fully dark, but it's also almost impossible to focus on. It might even change color a little bit. It's a little vague, a little nebulous. You know it's there, but it's also a little awkward. This is the sensation of peering through the veil. The veil is beyond our physical body, so the way that we see is different. It's not just with our actual eyes. So here you sit before this veil, where on the other side is the spirit realm and all the things that are beyond the veil. This is the place of land spirits, of ancestors, of animal spirits, of created entities, maybe servitors, other spirits, deities. Many dwell beyond this veil, and many cross back and forth. It is a different world. But here you sit on this side, peering through this veil that you can see with your own eyes through the lens of your eyelids. Trust your breath and trust the circle that we are part of together across the planet. We do this work as we sit here on this side of the veil, protected by our collective intention, protected by our guides, and protected by the work that Elena did before we did our meditation. Here you are safe. And here you are also curious. Allow a sense of curiosity to come up for you as you peer into this veil, hoping to see something. Just be in that growing curiosity. What does it feel like for you? And in your curiosity, ask yourself and ask the veil, who or what benevolent being is just beyond the veil that wants to connect with you? Who or what benevolent being is just beyond the veil that wants to connect with you? You're just allowing the question to be there with you, to fuel the curiosity. We're just in the curiosity. This is not a hard beckoning or an invocation that requires an immediate answer. You're just sitting in the curiosity. What benevolent being is just beyond the veil and wanting to connect with you? It's like we're planting the question as a seed right at the foot of the veil. And you are on one side, anchored in your breath, the veil before you, and that entire other world on the other side. And now you can allow, if the timing is right, for answers to bubble up if they haven't already. You get to wait for the answer. And then once you know who it is that most wants to connect with you at this time, you have the ability to say yes or no. You can say, yeah, but I don't want to connect with you. Or you can say, oh, I totally want to connect with you. And if you don't know yet, that's okay, because you haven't really engaged. It's just a potential answer. You are sovereign in this interaction. And if the answers are not clear, that's okay. You just stay in your breath and stay in the curiosity. That curiosity over time becomes a magnetic. It becomes its own powerful invocation. You don't have to do a lot other than to be present with the sensation of being curious. There's a wanting, a question, there's a pull, a longing maybe. All of those things and more make up our curiosity. Let it become its own fuel and its own magnet. Who or what benevolent being that is beyond the veil most wants to connect with you at this time? If an answer comes up for you, you can interact with them through the veil. But limit this interaction to things like who they are and whether or not you choose to connect with them as well. And then do the work of deciding when that will happen. It's not happening now, but you're going to set a date. It can be in the next few days for Samhain. It can be in the next season. Whatever makes sense for the two of you. If an answer has not come up for you, just stay in the curiosity. If you find that the answers come maybe in the form of sigils or squiggles or an outline of a being where you're not quite sure what's coming through, honor that anyway. Remember that our languages are different in this space. That might be the answer that you get for now, and that's complete and it's okay. Now do another 3 rounds of breath, allowing time to complete conversations that might be going on. And then create a transition for yourself to come back to this space and this group. And then taking a moment to write down anything that you need to write down about your experience before rejoining the conversation with the group. The intention behind this practice are several. And if you're writing, don't worry about what I'm talking about. Just do your writing and then you can watch this in the replay. There is a lot of importance in learning how to be present with discomfort. And discomfort can be about a lot of things, right? We can be having a super cathartic experience, either in meditation or in therapy or in life, and that's uncomfortable. But it's important to move through those things, yeah? But discomfort can also be the impatience that we get when we want something and we're not quite getting it yet, or we have to wait for something, or discomfort can sometimes just simply be being present in the moment without actual movement or any activity. A lot of us, especially in the very anxious world that we exist in now, have a hard time with that, justifiably so. We're not well practiced in just being present. So the more we are capable of being in that space and just existing in it, whether it's comfortable or not, increases our capacity for self-mastery. It increases our capacity for responding to something as opposed to reacting to things. And it, probably more importantly than anything else, it allows us to experience life in a very deeper way. I know that that wasn't a correct sentence, but you know what I mean. And oftentimes when we do work with beings beyond the veil, when we do work with deities or the spirits of land or our ancestors, or some of you work with servitors or egregores or X, Y, and Z. Their movement and their timing is very different than ours. You might be sitting with an ancestor that you've likely sat with other times before, and you ask a question and you're not going to get an immediate answer. There may be moments where you linger in the question for a long time. And by a long time, I don't mean, oh, I sat in meditation for 30 minutes before I heard an answer. It's, I've sat with this question for months and I haven't quite gotten the answer yet. That is common. That's not a sign that something has gone wrong. It's not a sign that you don't get it and that you're just not good at this. The world all doesn't work on the same timetable that we do in this corporeal form that we have. And so having an opportunity to just practice sitting in it, sitting in the curiosity, but not necessarily getting the answer, really deeply strengthens our capacity for just being present and being able to energetically move at a matched pace as the other that we're having a conversation with, which might be way slower and very different than what we're used to. So the intention behind this practice was, one, to start giving you practice in that, but also, and this is where we get a little renegade today because it's a little bit of a renegade practice, and a little contradictory to the things that I've said in the past, where I've said, if you're going to work with something beyond the veil, get really super duper freaking specific. Who are you going to meet with? Who is allowed in, who is not? Now, we did that, but we also left it as an open-ended question. Who really wants to connect with you right now? That's a pretty broad question. It's a little dangerous. You don't know who's going to come through. Maybe it's that ancestor that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's that guy that's been like, hello, hello, and you're like, no, or you've been, I really want a guide, and your guide's like, hello, 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 right? It's allowing for, is there someone who's very benevolent on the other side who's been wanting to connect, who has something to say? You're giving that opportunity for that connection. And because we're doing it at a time in the year where the veil is thinner, the capacity that we have is supported by this time of the year. So we might have an easier time of making that contact. You can take this now as like a beginning to enter into that conversation later on with yourself and whoever showed up for you, if someone showed up. You can take this meditation and do it again if the answer didn't come, but you want to sit in that curiosity and keep going. So you can play with this, but this is really just intended as a, have you actually, I don't know how many of you have worked with anything beyond the veil. And when you do that, how do you call someone through, or how do you find someone in that space? This is one of those ways. So all of that, I'm going to look at what's going on in the box. Adrian says, yep, gonna have to replay this one when I get home from work. It's exactly what I want to work with right now. At least I know the kind of extra special space I want to create for this meditation. Beautiful, right? Because you're at work. Kay says, my cards told me the same. Time to get more serious with resting in stillness. There is so I mean, God, we can probably have a whole weekend talk about what the importance and benefits and ramifications of learning to be in stillness can be for all of us. It's not just a woo woo. I hate the word woo woo, you know that, but it's not like a magical, just witchy thing. Um, it is supportive to our life energy. It's supportive to our health, to our mental health, to our intellect, to our capacity for magic and dancing with energy. Um, and we also live in a world that, for better or for worse, man, tries to, oh, I'm blinking, tries to keep us from being still at all costs. I'm just a mess right now. So, like that. So, this was like our, you know, guided meditation for the season. We won't be doing anything. I know that there are quite a few groups out there doing amazing things for Samhain if you want to participate in anything like that. Don't quote me, but I would check out Danielle Dulski. I know that Danielle Dulski's got quite a lot going on in this last month. And hint, hint, her book may be making an appearance in our box. Just saying. And who else has got something going on? If I am not mistaken, I know, you know, the people that we love. Oh my God, I just blanked out. I'm so embarrassed. Cindy Brannon. Oh, what is going on with me? Cindy Brannon, I think, has got some rituals or some practices going on with Hecate for this next week. So check those things out. I don't know exactly what the Instagram or website addresses are because right now my head is just not there. But definitely if you want to participate in anything like that, there's that. Yeah, like that. Let me see what's happening here. Meditation retreat. We could have a meditation retreat. I did think about that because we did the Bookish Witch retreat right last spring where it was just like, let's hang out, let's read, and then in the evening we would go outside under the trees and we would do gorgeous meditation work or shamanic journey work. And it would be fun to just spend 2-3 days of just solid, like, let's do some journeying, but let's do some meditating and let's just see what comes into the space. They don't all have to be, right, intense rituals where we're like contacting our ancestors and doing all the things. It doesn't always have to be that way. This is also really important work, so we can certainly explore that moving forward. Yeah, like that. I'm a little thoughtful today. Sorry, I'm just like, oh, lost in my thoughts. Mimsy says, I kept trying to stay in holding on to the nothing, but kept seeing a river flowing. It was interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and that might be a message, right? That might be a message. Jen says, I didn't meet with anyone except my dogs came to sit with me. I love when animals do that. But I felt my chest get tight and heart rate increase, which I usually feel when working beyond the veil. Beautiful. So you touched in. Yeah, beautiful. And again, it's a little bit of a strange thing, right? Because it wasn't like we did a whole enactment, but we just kind of sat at the precipice of a place to see what might be beyond. And so I would definitely recommend, if you wanted to and you feel called, you've got several days before Samhain, do it for the next few days just to see what comes up. The other thing, not everyone works this way. I do. Because, you know, and I've talked about this before, where I really love how the sun and the moon can support each other during this time. The sun is waning to its, excuse me, sorry. Oh my God. The sun is waning to its very end right before the winter solstice, right? So we're in that retreat time. All of this work doesn't have to just happen right before Samhain and on Samhain and then we're done. I really look at this entire seasonal time as working beyond the veil. So yes, we've got this really powerhouse of a day in the year where it's Samhain, and even the day after, like those 3 days, the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd, depending on where you practice and what you practice, those are 3 big days. And yes, that's when you would do a lot of this work, but you can also do this throughout the rest of the season into winter. It's how I operate. So a lot of my divination happens around this time of the year, not just a Samhain. Big healing work with my ancestors happen around this time, but also divination work with ancestors happens around this time, but throughout that season. So the end of fall, usually all of fall and all the way until like the moment that winter begins, right? Because then winter is when we start to come back. So continue doing this to see like what comes up. And if you don't feel comfortable with moving beyond the veil and really connecting with someone, just be in the be where you are, stay where you're at, and then ask questions that you can get answers to. You don't have to cross the veil, you don't have to do any of that, but ask the questions like, why do you want to connect with me? Who are you? Why are you? What's here? How can we connect in a way that feels comfortable for me and for you? Remember, we're in relationship. So our healthy relationship patterns and habits are the ones that we can also bring into our relationships with those who are beyond the veil, those in the spirit world, those entities out there, everything. We want to bring our healthy relationship skills to every single type of relationship that we have, even the relationship with ourselves. Like that. Mimsy says your brain is looking forward to your break. That's not that. Yes, of course, but that, I don't know that that's part of what's happening here. I had my own meditation earlier this morning. It was a short one because I really didn't have a lot of time, but things started to come through, and I think that they're still kind of like landing. So when I kind of gaze off, it's like, oh, okay, I got something else. Things are happening. How in movies or series that the river flowing or water being used for a portal, and it felt like that. There is something on the other side waiting, and it was interesting because it's there, and that's part one. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this continues for all of you. It's Friday. I will be back next Tuesday for a live. Hold on, I want to see, is next Tuesday the 31st or is it the 1st already? Hold on, I should just have a little calendar up here. Oh my gosh, where's my calendar? Yeah, next Tuesday is the 1st of November, which is All Saints Day, right? Or Day of the Dead, depending on who you are. So I'll see you on Tuesday. See how I'm still like like there's a lot happening. So next Tuesday I'll be live, and then we'll have another guided meditation that next Friday. Again, those of you who have been in the past part of the Moon Ritual Coven, and those of you who are currently part of the Moon Ritual Coven, be on the lookout for an email. I might get it out before 3 p.m. today. We'll see. And it is super time sensitive, so read it. It's important. And then I think that that's it for announcements before the weekend. Part 2, the feeling was the portal was there, but not pulling like it normally does to cross and connect. It was interesting to just be still. Yeah, definitely. And being still like that allows for way more information to bubble up to the surface when it has time and space to do that. And that's true of pretty much all of the things that we do spiritually in terms of our practices. The stillness allows space for things to come up, as opposed to us wanting to rush through it or wanting to impose our typical pace of communication to it. You know what I mean? Hold on. Oh goodness, hold on, because I know I skipped something and then now it's Chris, yes, we're already done, but you can certainly watch this on the replay. Jewel Mar, hello. My dearest Ma visits with me more during this season into the new year. She transitioned many years ago into the spirit realms, soaring on Christmas Eve. Oh, I know it's sweet, right? When we get to, it's one of the things too to look forward to at this time of the year, because we get to connect with those that we haven't been able to for a while. So it's always really beautiful. Beautiful. All right, my loves. I think that's it. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm sure that there are going to be major festivities everywhere, so enjoy them as much as you can. And yeah, I will be here again next Tuesday. All right, take care. Bye.